And we take Pro Night. Our athletes, our fighters take Pro Night. It's a great nighttime supplement to help recovery. Protein, great, and it's only 2 grams of carbohydrate per serving. So very low, doesn't gain the fighter's weight.
Hey, what's up everybody? Marcos Villegas here at the RGBA Academy, being joined with Robert Garcia. Robert, your brother Mikey just got done with his media day, and I noticed one thing that stuck out to me is he looks more mobile, more like lighter on his feet. Is that something that you feel has been brought out of him in this camp, and what else have you seen improvement-wise from him?
Look, with Mikey, like he said, it's the Reebok. It's the Reebok shoes.
Give me those Reeboks then.
Nah, you know, he's worked hard for this fight. This is the fight that motivates him. This is a fight that he wanted, and he knew what he needed to do. So, you know, we brought in Victor Conte and his system of working out, and that's those are results of, you know, the work that he did with Conte. You know, because you know, he needed it, and right now he's very light, very fast on his feet, and that's part of what we need to do in the fight.
Would you say that's the biggest thing that you've seen from the training, or what other things have you seen improvements from him?
Well, look, that, and I think physically his strength physically is much better. You know, he says he feels the same, but I not only feel it when I'm doing mitts with him, I also see it when he's sparring. My sparring partners, you know, they're not sparring partners, they're teammates that are also top prospects. They all tell me that he's very strong, that they feel like, you know, like sparring one of middleweight like they are, you know, because he's able to push him back if he wants to. He's able to counter, and they feel it. So you know, I see it. You know, Mikey says he feels the same. With the expression, you know, being a little bit faster on his feet, but his body, his power, he thinks he feels the same, but I see the difference.
When he's been sparring the bigger guys, how have you seen that from the outside? And how have you seen him take the bigger punches and the added weight from the bigger men?
Look, I can't say it's easy because, you know, it can't, I know it's not easy because Mikey has to have his 100%, you know, mentality, physically, boxing skills, everything to be able to perform. He needs to be 100%. But outside us, we seen it. He's having no trouble, you know. But like I said, he has to be in his game.
He can't mess around.
Exactly. He can't make mistakes. He can't play around. Other times, you know, with sparring other guys, he'll show us different things where he hasn't done in the fights, and he'll never do in a fight. But it's because maybe he's more confident. You know, guys his weight. With this guys he's been sparring, he knows that a punch could hurt him. So he's very alert, very smart the whole 3 minutes of each round.
When will the sparring stop? And when will you guys go into just shakeout mode, more game plan mode stuff?
Friday will be our last day sparring. We did all of last week. We did 12 rounds, and one day we did 14. This week we're tapering down. Yesterday was 10. Then we're gonna do 8. We're gonna do 8 Wednesday, and maybe another 8 or 6 on Friday, and that's it. And we're done sparring. Then the rest of the week is gonna be just pretty much to rest. You know, it's not about, you know, the game plan. Game plan, because we already know it. We already have it. I think it's going to be mostly rest, and you know, we're not going to have to make weight because, you know, he's very close to weight. So it'll be mostly rest. Obviously, you know, get a little bit of workouts just to keep his body moving. But the work is already done.
Game plan wise, was it a difficult thing to formulate a game plan for Errol Spence?
When we first started, and at first when the fight was done, when I still hadn't done my homework studying Spence, it was difficult. Just by, you know, nights thinking, you know, watching fights and just thinking, man, you know, it's not going to be easy. We have to, you know, really do our homework. But little by little, watching it over and over, I'm not saying it's easy, but it got easier. It got easier. And then the response that Mikey's doing in the gym, all the 5 weeks that he spent over there, That's when I started doing my homework. When he came to us, it hasn't been that difficult. Honestly, it hasn't been that difficult. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it hasn't been that difficult to create the game plan because Mikey's doing better than we even expected.
What is there a thing there, like a single thing that you look at when you've seen the past tape and know, like, okay, this is what we're targeting? Is the game plan gotten to that point where there's a very specific thing you want to exploit, or is it you guys have a general game plan, but it all depends on how Mikey's able to take the power and the size of Spence?
That's correct. We don't have one thing. That Spence is not that one fighter that you can find that one thing and that's all. It's got to be a little bit of everything. Mikey's just has to have a perfect fight. He has to fight a perfect fight.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. It's not going to be easy, but Mike's got the skills. He's got the talent. He's got the power. He's got everything to do it. But a perfect fight. It can be a fight where if he's not 100%, he's got to be 100%.
You've seen him in camp, and you've seen him before this process, and you've seen him during this process. What you've seen from him, do you feel that he's never been at this place, or do you feel that this is like the real potential now that you're tapping from him?
I think this fight is going to bring the best out of Mikey. Look, he's told you guys, all previous fights,
he says, like, you guys haven't seen the best
exactly.
of me.
And it's because, look, his previous fights that he's had, they've never really motivated him. Beating Salido, who was a hell of a champion, was not like nothing for Mikey. Then he moved up to 130. 35 because it was for the WBC, meant a lot for my dad, being that the title's from Mexico, but that doesn't never really push Mikey or motivate him. I think this is the challenge that he wanted, and he told us, I want to be the underdog. I want to challenge myself, being the underdog where people don't believe I could do it. And I think that's been giving him that extra desire, that extra will to train harder, to perform better against middleweights, and middleweights walking around at light heavyweight, because they fight at middleweight, but they're walking around light heavyweight. So that's what's motivating him. That's what's pushing him to perform and to do everything correct. If he's fighting at 135, I have guys fighting that lightweights, sparring with him. Well, for him it's not. For him that could be too easy. So he wants to challenge himself, and this is the fight that's going to challenge him.
He mentioned that he wants to win this fight the most of any fight that he's ever had in his entire career. And I know you kind of touched on it, but what is it? Why did it take Spence out of all the people? Because you would have maybe thought maybe Broner because of the attention, or maybe the other fights. But what is it about this fight that he wants to win the most out of all the fights he's ever had?
Look, I think it's because Spence is probably the best welterweight out there. That's why, and I'm not saying all the other, there's, Thurman's not easy, Sean Porter's not easy. What's his name from Oklahoma? I mean from Nebraska. Crawford's not. Crawford's, probably as good or maybe even better. Who knows? But he went after the best one, and the one that would probably be easiest to make because, Thurman was out on injuries. Porter wasn't champion yet. He was, they were going back and forth with Danny Garcia and all that stuff. So I guess Spence was the easiest one to make. Crawford definitely not because it's with Top Rank. So that would have to be, different negotiations that the fight would have never happened. So Errol Spence was the easiest one to make and the biggest challenge for Mikey. That's why he wanted that challenge. We know, me personally, business-wise, I would have waited a little bit longer before fighting for a welterweight title, or maybe choose the right welterweight, which I just told you they're all difficult. But there's been or wait for an occasion where maybe a vacant title, something like that. But he doesn't. Other fighters do it. Other fighters move up in weight, and they go after the easiest fighter out there, fighters that nobody's ever heard of, but they have a title, so that's what they go after. Mikey didn't want that. Mikey wanted the challenge, and that's what motivates him. That's what pushes him. We could have had other plans at 135, easy, But Mikey says there's not one single fight that motivates me, except for the Lomachenko. But we know that's not going to happen. If we start negotiations, it'll take years to make that happen. And Bob Arum's not going to allow Lomachenko to come and fight for us, and Mike's not going to go under Bob Arum's conditions. So it's just not going to happen. So Mikey moved on and went for the biggest challenge out there.
Would you have done something like this when you were a pro, moving up 2 weight divisions to fight a guy that, even if you moved up 2 weight divisions, still outweighed you a good 10 pounds?
Shit, I was lucky. I was world champion. Look, when I
that took hard work. That took dedication on your end.
When I was world champion, I was lucky. Arturo Gatti vacated the title. that's when I became champion, because he vacated the title to move up to lightweight. I was lucky, and I was ranked number 1, so I fought for the vacant title. So I was lucky that he moved up, or else Arturo Gatti would have probably destroyed me. You know what I mean? No, I don't think, hey, me now as a fighter, maybe I would have done it just to take, fighters are fighters. But now as a trainer, as being in the business for so long, probably not. That wasn't our first, that wasn't our choice with Mike. It was his choice. But now that we're here, we're training him, and he's ready to pull it off, man. He's ready to pull it off.
Do you get nervous when Mikey fights?
Not yet.
You're not nervous right now because you know the work, but do you ever get nervous when he fights?
What I guess I could say a little more emotional because my brother. Then we see my mom, my sisters, Mikey's kids and wife sitting in ringside. I'm very emotional, so that's when I feel I'm almost
a flood of emotions, like everything going on.
To tear a little because it just gets to me, but not nervous for the fight. I don't know about this fight. When we walk into the ring, it's going to be a huge fight, and Errol Spence is a great champion. His hometown, all that, might feel a little nervous, but I really don't get nervous.
Is there a little fear? Not because he's not prepared, but with any boxing match, anything can happen, and
anything would happen in any fight, and any of my close to 30 professional fighters, outside of the ring. We just had a tragedy with one of my fighters outside of the ring, so it's part of life. It happens, anything would happen in boxing. There's no fear when Mikey goes into the ring. We just, obviously he's in great shape. He's prepared. He's ready for whatever Spence brings. So no fear at all.
At the end of the day, you being the trainer and seeing Mikey through this whole process, and if he gets the win, what do you think is going to be the biggest contributing factor to him getting the win?
Look, I think it'll be Mikey's will to be great. Mikey wants to be great. Mikey wants to be not only pound for pound at this moment, he wants to be remembered as 50 years from now as one of the best ever to step in the ring, and that's what Mikey wants. That Mikey wants to be remembered and recognized as one of the best fighters to ever step in the ring.
Robert, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. It's great chatting with you. Thank you. Robert Garcia, of course, will be in the corner of his brother Mikey Garcia coming up next Saturday, Fox pay-per-view against Errol Spence.